It's game week, and we've got Bennie Fowler in to break it down. We've got a lot to get to. Injury updates on Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, Marvin Mims. Plus, we're diving into the Titans and talking about how Micah Parsons' deal impacts a potential Nik Bonitto deal. We brought in the big guy, Super Bowl 50 champ Bennie Fowler to break it down. It all starts now. Officially game week for the Denver Broncos, and we are going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos Podcast, presented by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Deposit $10, place a $5 bet, and you're going to get $200 in bonus bets in your account to bet on the NFL season. Whatever you want to do, you can bet on those Broncos in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And to kick off game week, we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Bennie Fowler. We got you here behind the camera, and Zac Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. Labor Day? What's that? I don't know what that is. We are here ready to talk Broncos football. How we doing, fellas?
Doing really good. You know, working on Labor Day actually brings me back to my NFL days because you actually have to practice, and you're getting ready for the first game of the season. So super excited to be here with you. And now really excited to be with you guys every single week throughout the entire season. The off season, I joined with you guys in free agency and the draft and preseason. But now it all matters and it all counts. So super excited to be here with you guys throughout the entire season, talking Broncos football, breaking things down, and watching them go on this quest for a Super Bowl.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, Bennie. You're getting me fired up to start. And you mentioned how the Broncos work on Labor Day. Not only do they work on Labor Day, it's actually a bonus practice that they have. So it's not only not a day off, it's not a normal day of work, it's an extra day of work for them. They are out on the practice field for a little bonus practice today, and then they fully get kicked off into regular season mode. Tomorrow is the Normals player off day, so they'll have that off. We'll still be here at noon. Then Broncos back at practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Have a walkthrough on Saturday. Then we get to the game, which, as you can see, we've got the countdown right now. 6 days, 2 hours, and 1 minute away. Henry, how you feeling?
I feel good. It's nice that we're almost done with like hypotheticals, because that's the stuff that I really struggle with. It's just like, what do you think? It's just like guessing and like, who knows? Anything could happen. Now it's just like, it's talking ball. Got to wake up this morning. I watched every play the Titans starting offense ran in the preseason, because it matters. Like, it's just, what do they do? What's working? What doesn't work? What can Cam Ward do? What can he not do?
PFF?
PFF.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out Bennie. Shout out Bennie. Made that super easy. But yeah, no, this is the fun part of the year, when there's actual football to talk about, and not just like, did you see the tweet? Yeah.
And Sean said that when we last talked to him before this morning, I think on Thursday. He said, just like you guys, I'm anxious to see what this team looks like. He says, I love what we've done this offseason, loved how we look in training camp and preseason, but I'm anxious. And I think all of Broncos country is very anxious for that. We're going to dive in to the Titans. We're going to get Bennie's prediction on the record for the entire season. And we're also going to get into a little Micah Parsons, Nik Bonitto talk. And before we do that, we got some updates on this Broncos team that we need to hit, specifically one at the wide receiver position, and we're going to get to that. But I got to give a shout out. I got to read this chat in the Twitter chat from Jose. Says, I really want Zach to give a shout out to ngreen030, who is now a member of the Supporters Club. Shout out to N Greer 3030 for becoming a member of the supporters chat with us. Really appreciate you. Got to give a lot of shout outs today. Actually, we dropped our season preview for the Broncos, almost 10,000 words over at thednvr.com. It's got everything you could ever imagine. A couple of feature stories from Henry, a lot of inside scoops from me, from stuff you need to know about what's going to happen during the season to what happened in the off season, some inside information there. Plus, we also have a player preview of all 53 players that made this roster. So big season preview up over at thednvr.com.
Yeah. Also, Big Brothers Big Sisters month.
Yeah.
Here at All City.
It's a big month.
28 days left. I would have thought. Interesting. 28 days left. Trying to raise $50,000 for Big Brothers Big Sisters across the network. It's a cool goal. Currently $0 raised because we must be the first show.
We are the first show.
I would imagine across the entire network of Big Brothers Big Sisters. So any money that we make in the next hour, we know is coming from us. So help us out. Obviously, they do a bunch of great stuff, and we love supporting them.
You can do that on YouTube. Just go into the donate button, click that, and then when you donate, make sure to let us know in the Twitter chat so we can give you a shout out. Okay, so last week we kind of had our first injury scare in a couple of weeks. Marvin Mims walked off the field. We found out it's a groin injury. Sean Payton said at the end of the week that Marvin is good. He'll be back at practice this week. But Bennie, even if he is, with the good news that Sean said about how it's a minor groin injury, he'll be back at practice this week, it still just makes me nervous. One, because it's a groin and those can be just tricky. It's kind of like a hamstring injury. And then two, that's a big part of what Marvin does, not only as a receiver, but in the return game as well. Is putting a lot of pressure there. Are you worried, or can you ease some of my concerns about him being ready to go for the season?
Zach, I can't ease any of your concerns.
No.
I'm actually really, really worried about this. Soft tissue injuries are just hard, especially a growing somebody who's super fast, super dynamic in terms of the way that he plays. As it relates to the way that he plays, I am very concerned because we have 5 receivers. You traded away Vele. You had your 6 right there. That depth now is a little bit scary if you have a receiver go down. Now you have 4 that are dressing for the game. So I am a little concerned. I am a little worried because he is our all-pro returner. He is one of our deep threats. He is somebody who finished the year super strong last year with the way that he played. And he is a huge part of this offense. He's a huge part of the misdirection, the jet sweeps, the option routes, the post routes. So I am concerned, Zach. Soft tissue injuries, these could linger throughout the entire season. We'll see how these 3 days did Marvin. But yeah, if he doesn't practice today or if he's limited in practice, I am a little concerned. But if he needs a good PT, I got a good PT for him.
I wonder if you get a kickback from this PT. How much you promote him? I love it.
The kickback is Bronco players being on the field healthy.
That's what
I want to see.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
going to reach out to Marvin in the DMs and say, hey, if you need my boy's number, he's got you covered. But yeah, I am a little concerned.
Yeah, if he's back at practice, I'm happy. That's where I'm at. Like if something flares up and he leaves a game, I'll be concerned again. If he's on the field today, I guess we'll find out pretty soon if he's on the field. I'm good to go. I agree. Like if they don't have him, it's a massive loss for this offense. Because in the NFL, you run maybe 65 plays in a game.
Yep,
and
60 to 75.
The fact that he can have 5 plays that are just like easy touches, things that you don't have to like. There's no pressure on Bo really. It's like it's a screen out here. It's a jet sweep. Those are the sorts of things that just make the whole game easier. Like they're almost like with running backs when we talk about like the change of pace guys with Julio McLaughlin. Like could he just provide a spark when nothing's happening because he does something different? Like Marvin has that aspect. I don't know that he's going to be a guy who is getting 10 targets a game. But the fact that he can stretch the field, he can give you some easy touches, some easy answers. I think that's massive for a young quarterback in particular.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And I think that the Broncos should handle this the exact same way that they're handling the Dre Greenlaw situation. And Sean Payton, we just got off a conference call with him to kick off game week. And Bennie, I want your reaction to this. Dre Greenlaw has he's in the Broncos' plans to start week 1, and he is going to start week 1. But Sean admitted that they are going to be smart, is the word he used. Conservative is another word he used. And bringing Dre Greenlaw back, and it's pretty clear from putting together some things that Sean has said about Dre that he's going to be on a snap count to start the season, because Sean said it's important to have him on the field now, but to have him on the field for the entire season. So they don't want to just put him out there at 100% right now. They want to ease him in, and I think that's what they should do with Marvin as well, because this is a playoff team. Sean Payton believes this is the team that has a chance to compete for the Super Bowl, so you need these guys later in the season, honestly, more than you do right now, but obviously you don't want to sit guys if they're healthy to play. So I think that's the same approach that they're going to take. I think Marvin will be available this week, but on a pitch count.
Yeah, I think Sean has the right approach to everything. I think him and Bo Lowry in particular work really well together. And for those who don't know out there, Bo Lowry is the head of performance and really has a great understanding of all of the players, their different needs, body needs, and just the way that they should go about playing throughout the entire season. And I've had a chance to talk with Bo and work with Bo when I was in New Orleans, when I was playing for Sean.
Big flex.
And even when even when they do draft players or they sign players in free agency, they talk about how many games a player can play. Teron Armstead was somebody that played for Sean Payton in New Orleans, and they said when they drafted him, at least from when I talked to Bo, that hey, he could miss 2 to 3 games every year, and they accounted for those things. And I think that's something that Sean and Bo talked about. Bo Lowry, not Bo Nix.
Yes.
Sean and Bo talked about that as they signed players like Dre Greenlaw or Talanoa Hufanga, or even talking with players like Marvin Mims. What is the injury history?
Right.
How many games can we account for them for? Maybe it's 13, maybe it's 14 games. And Dre's on a pitch count this week. Great. He might be on a pitch count for the first 3 to 4 games.
Yep.
Not when they play Philly, though.
Yep.
He won't be on a pitch count. He won't be on a pitch count then.
Yep.
But I think Sean and Bo Lowry have really talked these things through, and we are a playoff team, and we have to account for those things. And I think Sean and they've talked about that. Marvin, he'll be on a pitch count, but this is also why you sign people like Evan Ingram. Okay, Marvin, maybe he can't go. Now those touches, those quick throws go to Evan Ingram now. So now you see that depth, and you start to add players like that. That's where things become very dynamic. That's where Jaleel now comes into play. Somebody who can, be that quick screen guy. Maybe they have to line him up at receiver a couple different times. Maybe he gets the jet sweeps. So yes, I am a little concerned. I am still concerned about Marvin.
Yeah.
But this is where the depth comes into play.
Right.
What we saw during preseason.
Man, I love looking at Evan Ingram as a piece that can be that depth at the receiver spot, because that was the risk of trading Vele. Was okay, you still have a very good receiving room. You didn't necessarily hurt yourself, but if injuries happen, that's when it hurts. And it's nice that you do have that Evan Ingram piece to slip in. And as Crumble Cookies points out in the Toyota chat, Sean loves his bows. We know that Sean thinks Bo Nix is going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the NFL. He thinks the other Bo Lowry, who you were talking about, Benny, is the best in the NFL. He said this today. Bo's the best in the NFL at knowing where players are and working them back in to be ready for exactly when the Broncos want. And I think you nailed it. I think Philadelphia is the game. Yeah, he did say that. I think Philadelphia is that game that you identify of, okay, if we can have everyone healthy and 100% ready to go, that's the game we want it.
Yeah, and I think the kicker with the Greenlaw thing is that you also have Singleton kind of in that same boat. Because last week was when they said we have to be smart. Alex is coming back off an injury. Dre is coming back. We have to be smart. Look at pitch counts. Be ready to play some younger guys and not just say week 1 we're throwing him out there for 70 plays. So it's not just Dre who's in that boat. It's both of your starting linebackers you feel like you don't want those excessive workloads for.
Well, Henry, I've got some good news for you. I know for a fact, after talking to a couple of people very close to the situation, Alex Singleton is not on a snap count. Not on a pitch count. He is going to play 100% of the snaps come week 1, just like he did in all 3 games last year that he played, including when he had a torn ACL. Sean mentioned it today. He's the one with the green dot.
True.
They're not moving it to anyone else because they're afraid of him not being able to play. So that did concern me when Sean said that last week after doing some digging. Alex is good to go, and he is fully recovered. I mean, that injury happened less than less than 11 months ago. So he's had almost an entire year to recover. Typically, you need, 9 months to be fully recovered from an ACL?
Depends on who you are.
Yeah. 9 at best, yeah.
9 at best, but honestly, 2 years.
Oh, geez. You're being too real with me right now.
I mean, but that's those super dynamic guys of the Saquon Barkleys and people that I know who have had ACL injuries, that you get back on the field after a year, but you're not yourself until year 2. Maybe Alex is different.
Yeah.
You never really actually hear that about linebackers. You more so hear it about the receivers and running backs or cornerbacks. So we'll see. But I have complete trust in Bo Lowry.
Yep. Good. Sean does. You do. So I'm feeling pretty good about the plan going into this week. Let's take a look at who the Broncos are going to be playing with a limited Dre Greenlaw, maybe without a 100% Marvin Mims. Let's dive into the Titans after I give a shout out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union. Broncos Country, this one's for you. Ent Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos, has created a Broncos checking account that's built for fans like us. The thing is loaded with the kinds of perks that Broncos fans love. There's no surprise fees, no minimum balance requirements, and the money in your Broncos checking account even earns dividends. So if you want to get in, you're going to get 10% off food and gear on game days at Empower Field a Mile High, a Broncos branded debit card to rep the team, and a chance to win tickets to Broncos home game by swiping your debit card. Every 15 swipes earns you a chance to win another entry right there. So if you're ready to bank like a Bronco, go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR and sign up for Broncos checking today. That's ent.com/DNVR. Ent Credit Union is insured by NCUA. Membership required. APY annual percentage yield. Account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card.
And shout out to Mac Weldon. Mac Weldon just puts together the best stuff, especially in the summer when it's hot outside, out there hiking or walking around. Even if you're just like hanging out, easy to get really hot in Denver because there's so many of those 100-degree days. They've got the clothes that's perfect for those situations. Their new tech linen line combines the easy charm of classic linen with the Cool Max technology, so you still look that classic linen look, but you also have the Cool Max technology that nobody can tell that you're actually not feeling as hot as the rest of them. They've got all sorts of great stuff. Fits great. It's not just like your cheap t-shirts, cheap underwear, cheap whatever it may be. It's high quality stuff that fits right, makes you look good. And that's why we love them over here. Mac Weldon, awesome. Started obviously with the underwear stuff, but is expanded because those were so good that people wanted more. You can get breathable clothes you can feel comfortable in all summer. Go to macweldon.com, get 25% off your first order of $125 or more. Promo code DNVR. That's MACKWELDON.com, promo code DNVR.
And shout out to everyone that's tuning in with us. Shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you shout out. Tons of people in the Toyota chat on this Labor Day. We appreciate it. Hit us with a thumbs up. We appreciate everyone that's tuning in with us. And if you want to give back, you can do that with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Hit that donate button right there. We're doing that all month, and as Henry said, we got a big goal to raise some money and also become a big. That's a way to just have a direct impact on someone's life. Okay, guys, if I were to have told you the schedule came out 3 or 4 months ago, if I would have said what's the easiest game the Broncos could possibly have week 1 in the entire NFL, you probably would have said Titans at home. Well, the NFL gave the Broncos just that, right? I mean, this is a team with the number 1 overall pick last year, a rookie quarterback making his NFL debut, and a team that had the worst record in the NFL last year.
So you're thinking it's easy. You think this is an easy week 1 game?
The easiest game the Broncos could have possibly had.
Maybe the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay, well, you get that week 2.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's so perfect about this, the start of this season reminds me of when Von Miller got up on the podium in 2018, I believe, 2017, 2018, right before the Broncos played the Arizona Cardinals, and on Thursday Night Football, and he said, we're going to whoop their ass. And it was like, oh my gosh, what a statement to be making. Yeah. Von knew what he was doing. the Broncos were such a better team than the Cardinals. And what'd you guys do? You went out and whooped their ass. You did exactly
I wasn't
that.
on that team.
you?
I was in New York then.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I know exactly.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes, and it was like, wow, what a bold comment. And it's like, well, no, Von knew what he was doing. Well, I'll relate that to this year now because Sean Payton has said we need to get to a fast start. Have to get off to a fast start. He's really started focusing on that more and more as we've gotten close to this season. He mentioned it a couple of times last week. I believe used the word like we have to get off to a fast start just the last week. Talked about it this morning as well. And why I think it's similar to the Von Miller quote is because the Broncos have the easiest start in the NFL that you could possibly have.
Yeah.
So I think he's putting this out there like we have to get to a fast start because he knows they're going to because of their first 2 games.
Yeah, I think it's definitely mandatory. It's not mandatory. It's
mandatory.
Yeah, it is super important for the Broncos to get off to a fast start, to get off to a 2-0 start, but most importantly, to really set the tone for the season, to start fast against the Tennessee Titans. Like you said, they are coming off of one of the worst records in the NFL last year, having the number 1 pick, Cam Ward being a rookie. What I will point out is this is still the NFL, and most NFL games come down to 1 score. So it is not. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. I just have a hard time as a former player saying that, hey, we are just going to blow this team out. But with that being said, we do have a top 3 defense in the NFL, and we are getting ready to play against a rookie quarterback. The way I'm going to point this out is very similar to what Arch Manning just went through as a young player. Even though he is very talented, super talented, what Matt Patricia did to confuse him in terms of the coverages made him second guess a lot of things.
Yep.
And I think that is exactly what Vance Joseph is going to do with Cam Ward. Mix up the coverages on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down to not give him a beat on anything.
Right.
Disguising looks, heavy blitz looks, then dropping out to zone, or zone looks that look like cover 2 and then bringing a lot of pressure. So that is what I expect the Broncos defense to do, and that's what I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, to me, it comes down to the pressure. That's what this game is all about. Like, you just have to get on him. Like I said, I went back and watched all the preseason. He's hitting those over routes over and over and over again. And those are the ones where if you just get home, there's no time for the receiver to run all the way across the field. Like, that's kind of a long developing route. And when there was pressure and they kind of went to that quick game, it's not like he did a bad job. Like, he wasn't missing throws or anything. It's just the timing just wasn't quite there. Like, there's some of those little things that the chemistry, the quick hitches, that sort of stuff. Balls over here, just because they aren't quite on the same page yet. So to me, with Cam Ward in this offense, they're going to be all about the explosive plays. And I know they invest in the offensive line. Maybe they have a good run game. Passing game at the very least, all about the explosive plays. And they're all just those over routes. And when you give them time to find space, Calvin Ridley in particular, but also Tyler Lockett, they can make that happen. And Cam didn't miss one of those in the preseason. It's just whether there's time for it to develop, time to deliver the ball. And that's why, that's a tough route to defend, I think. And
shoot so much of the field. Yeah,
totally. And so you just have to get home. You rush 5, don't let him get those off, make him play quick, and hope he makes a quick mistake.
Hank, you pointed out something that I think is super important. Sorry, Zach.
No.
But although the Broncos have the best secondary in the league, the Tennessee Titans receiver core is nice.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley might be top 5 route runner in the league. He's been super explosive and dynamic. He knows how to create separation. So I believe Tyke Tolbert is the receiver coach over there, who was my receiver coach here in Denver. He always likes to pick on the opposite corner. So he knows nobody's going at Pat Surtain. So that's where Van Jefferson and the young rookie that they have, or Tyler Lockett, is going to be on Pat Surtain. How do we take him out on just decoy routes, bus ticket routes, where you're just trying to get him out of the picture frame, and then now you have Calvin Ridley doing all of his routes and specialty routes on Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan, or Jahdae Barron. So NFL is all about matchups. And the receiving core for Tennessee, they got some dynamic playmakers. And then Tyler Lockett, he's a big play threat waiting to happen. He always has been an explosive play guy, playing with Russell Wilson in Seattle. He knows how to catch the ball over the top, deep over routes, like you were saying, Hank, post routes. So we will have our hands full. Now, we do have the better secondary. We have a better secondary and the best secondary in the NFL, but their receiving game and their receiving core is very dynamic.
Okay,
But to me,
so many good points brought up that I want to touch on super quick. But first, bold prediction of the year for me, Riley Moss has a pick against Cam Ward in this game because they are going to target him. And if I'm Cam Ward, I'm not throwing to Pat Surtain's way in my first game in the NFL on the road against this defense. No, I'm not going to the defensive player of the year. I'm going the other way.
He's going to throw. I think Pat Surtain actually gets a pick. I think he's actually going to. Cam Ward has this alpha mentality and that won't bother him. Now he'll have to learn. He'll learn from his mistakes, but I think he might actually target Pat Surtain a little bit.
Well, then we're talking about 2 interceptions, one for Pat, one for Riley in this game. And to kind of bring 2 of the things that each of you said in this, I love the similarity and the comparison of Arch Manning and Cam Ward in this game. Do I still believe in Arch Manning after that first game? Of course. It was his first start, but his first start was against an elite defense in a extremely hostile environment, and that was essentially his first start in college, like with this team. And Henry, you brought up how Cam Ward did really good things in the preseason. Well, Arch Manning did good things last year when he got some playing time against Louisiana Monroe and preseason type of opponents there. And it's a totally different ball game with Cam going now into a hostile environment against a great defense, against the defensive player of the year, against an experienced defensive coordinator in Vance Joseph. You don't even have to like Cam Ward or not like Cam Ward. So no, this is going to be an extremely, extremely tough game for him. This game, so a rookie making a start, I mean, we've talked about this on the show. If I'm the Titans, I might not play Cam Ward the first week of the season. Have him start in week 2 or 3 to avoid what's going to happen. Because Bennie, not only, you guys mentioned the best secondary in the NFL, or really good secondary, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Broncos had the best pass rush in the NFL last year. That's a way to ruin a rookie quarterback. Welcome to the NFL. Here's 8 sacks and 15 pressures.
Yeah, I think, if I'm Tennessee, I'm definitely playing him because he's number 1 pick. I think he has that mentality. Who else are you going to play? I don't even know who their backup is. Will Levis had the surgery.
Brandon Allen.
Okay. So they cut Trevor Siemian?
Oh, they must have, yeah.
My guy.
Because I know they cut
I love Trev.
T-Money Wiggle. Shout out to Trev. But, yeah, I think they're going to play him, and I think we're getting home. And Brian Callahan's the head coach, and he's also probably calling the plays. He was the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. He was a quarterback's coach here for my 2 years with Payton. So he's somebody that understands to get the ball out quick. He knows to get the ball out quick. He's a great coach, or great offensive mind. I'm not going to say he's a great head coach, but he's got a great offensive mind. So I'm going to be looking for quick passes. That's what they're going to try to do, and then that's where I think we jump these routes and we get some picks. Maybe it's Riley Moss, maybe it's Pat Surtain, but I think we definitely get some turnovers in this game. And, it's going to be a rude awakening for Cam Ward, and I know Broncos Country is going to be on their feet the entire game and super loud. So I think that's something that he is not playing against an NFL team against that type of crowd is very different than college. You can shut up a college crowd pretty quickly. Like the Broncos are going to be on it, and it's going to be week 1. Oh man, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I guess the fear is just the Browns game happened. You had the one game where like the coverage wasn't quite there, and it just led to some big plays. Now, I mean, obviously it's not going to that extreme. You'd imagine Riley Moss he will hold up better than Levi Wallace did. But in week 1, do you make 3 mistakes in coverage that lead to 3 big plays that kind of just change the dynamic of the game? That's the fear to me, is just that you have to play good football consistently, play top down, don't give up those big plays, and you'll be just fine. And I think mid-season, I'd feel really, really good about this defense in particular doing that. It's just when you're coming out of the gate in week 1 with a couple new faces in there, do you make a couple of mistakes that change the game?
Does Cam Ward can he actually diagnose that, though? I don't think Cam Ward will be actually to be able to diagnose what the Broncos could mess up. If we are messed up in a little bit of coverage here and there, I don't know if he has the processing speed just as a rookie in week 1 to diagnose all of that.
I would also say take exactly what you just said about the Broncos and flip it with the Titans. They have so many new faces on their offense. starting with their quarterback, who's making his first or his NFL debut. They have a new receiver with Tyler Lockett, a new face in there. They have multiple new offensive linemen. If I'm the Titans, I'm way more scared of all the new faces and new things there, as opposed to the third best. Nice head, you hear? And instead of the third best defense in the NFL with two veteran guys coming.
Oh, by a mile. But again, like that's one of the many reasons the Broncos should win this game. But in week 1 of the NFL, a lot of the time it does come down to like who just makes the most mistakes, which team is ready to go. And you'd think it'd be the Broncos. But again, the game gets played, and if the Titans come out and the new defense is clicking the way that they want it to, and the Broncos make 2 mistakes, that's the kind of thing that does change a game that you would think would be pretty low scoring, I would say. Just week 1, we know they keep it a little bit more vanilla.
24/7,
you have to feel good. You have to feel good.
28/7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is the over-under over at Bet365?
That's a good question.
Because we know that the Broncos are the biggest favorite in the NFL week 1. They're over a touchdown favorite, which is the biggest. I wouldn't be surprised if they honestly have one of the lowest spreads or one of the lowest over-unders as well, because you got a Broncos defense against a rookie quarterback. They're probably not expecting many points from the Titans. Yeah. And then also, as Henry said, it's a team that the Broncos, they just week 1, you might not score tons of points. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is one of the lower over-unders. When Henry's looking that up, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365, where if you want the best lines, you want to bet on the Broncos, get in over at Bet365 right now. My play tonight, I love this college weekend because we had Buffs on Friday, all day Saturday. We had 2 games yesterday, which were good. And then we got UNC taking on TCU.
Belichick's debut.
Belichick's going to win this game.
You think
For
so?
sure.
If not, it is all going to shit. I mean, and so I'm taking Bill at home is a dog. If you want to take the points, you can take plus 3.5, I believe, over at Bet365, or you can just roll with them on the money line. And if you want to do that with bonus bets, you can do that by using the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Place a $5 or place a $5 bet after depositing $10, and you're going to get $200 in bonus bets, which you can use on tonight's game. You can use on Thursday Night Football, which is back this week, and you can use on the Broncos this weekend. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, once help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
And shout out to American Financing. American Financing is the best option if you're looking to finance a new home. Whether you're a first-time buyer, you're trying to upgrade, you're trying to downsize. If you're in Colorado, American Financing is the place to go. Turning into a buyer's market right now, more houses on the market, fewer people trying to buy them. Now's the time to jump in. And the best part about American Financing, well, maybe I shouldn't say best. One of the very good parts is that they will pre-approve you in 24 hours or less. They can get things going quickly. When you work with them and their partner, American Home Agents, you can save an additional 1%. That can save you up to $10,000 on your home loan. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, it's time to jump in. American Financing is the place to start. So don't let the 20% down myth stop you. You could buy a new home with as little as 3% down. And with down payment assistance programs available, getting into a home might be easier than you think. 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000. AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I got to give a shout out to one of our newest supporter club members. That is an OG, the Danimal. Welcome, the Danimal. So thrilled that you're rocking and rolling with us. And as the Danimal says, we got 300 people watching right now and only 50 likes. Pick it up. And in fact, the number that's watching right now has grown since that comment. So hit us with that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you spending your Labor Day with us. Let's
also raise $100 for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Boom,
Nice.
let's go. Keep it going.
Yes.
I think that was all the Danimal, actually.
Oh, shout out to Danimal.
The Danimal is the absolute GOAT. So thank you, Danimal, for joining us in the Supporters Club. You've been an OG and then also giving back to the Boys and Girls Club. All right, let's get to the topic of this show today. Micah Parsons, Bennie, Henry and I have already broken this down. We did a little mini pod right after the news broke. So I need your...
You guys didn't invite me?
You want to be invited to the mini pods?
Yes.
Okay, heck yeah. I
to talk
absolutely love
about
that
that.
about you. You just want all in, and I want you all in. So we broke down this news right when it happened. Micah Parsons traded, 2 first-round picks, Kenny Clark, and then, by the way, gets a $47 million per year deal. Just what were your initial reactions to that before we dive into how it could impact Nik Bonitto?
Well, yeah, I'm going to share my initial reactions, but I didn't hear you guys, so I'd love to hear it. My initial reaction was that Jerry Jones is a complete clown, which I still have that reaction. But, like, taking a step back, he doesn't actually really care about winning a Super Bowl. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. 2 first-round picks doesn't seem like enough to me. I was thinking maybe 3 first-round picks and then maybe a second or third-round pick. So I felt like they could have got more. But he said something in the press conference that, you know, they need help stopping the run. Well, they need help all over their defense.
Right.
But if you actually don't believe that you can win a Super Bowl, it makes sense. Like, and the Packers are going all in. And I think we play the Packers this year, so, you know, we just push that to later on in the season. But my first initial reaction was just, Jerry Jones is a complete clown, and he runs that organization. It's like a marketing company. Like, they host events on Sundays, and they just, like, it's a soap opera. And that was my first initial reaction. For Nik Bonitto, it's great because that just brings the price up. Now, I think we were talking during preseason to where, 25 million a year. This now brings him into the category of the 30s for sure. You know, so really good for him in terms of his personal finances and where they're getting ready to go.
I think so too, Benny. And let's dive into how it impacts Nick, because when Henry and I had this conversation, it was a mini pod, so it was a short conversation. And I thought that this did absolutely help Nik Bonitto's cause. And I think his value just went up in the contract that he's going to get. Henry, on the other hand, doesn't think that it impacts the contract.
I don't think much change there. There are a lot of factors at play. And again, with any negotiation, it comes down to what could Nick get on the open market in 5 months or whatever that is. What will the Broncos offer now to convince him to take this deal instead of going to the open market? And then obviously there's like the risk involved. You make less money staying, but if you get hurt, if you have a down year, whatever, you still get the money now that you have gotten. I don't know that this deal changes significantly what he gets paid on the open market. I think that there are other factors there. You know, Greg Rosenthal from NFL.com just this morning put out his NFL free agency ranking. So which players are going to be the most valuable in free agency? And Nik Bonitto is number 1 on that list. Like, of everybody in the NFL on an expiring contract, he's number 1 in terms of free agents. So I think that his number is going to hover around that same area. I don't know that if that was 33 million on the open market, 30 million on the open market, I don't know if the extra 47 million at the top versus the 41 for Watt versus like 35 is the next highest moves him up all that much.
I just, and here was my argument for that it does change Nik Bonitto, is because when the market changes, it changes for everyone. You don't see players just look back at old deals and say, oh yeah, we won't care about the newest one that just came in. No, players wait for deals to come out. I mean, we saw it with your former receiver, the late great DT. I think Dez Bryant got his deal, and like 2 minutes later, DT got his deal that was like,
Collusion.
$10 more.
Yes.
Probably something there too. And it's just like you always wait, and then you go one up. Now, you have to be in the same tier as someone. And I don't think Nik Bonitto is in the same tier as Micah Parsons.
No.
And I don't think, I know that Nik Bonitto is not asking for Micah Parsons' money, but the market just went up $5 million. So I think for every tier, it kind of went up $5 million, or at least a couple $1 million there. And so, Benny, I was thinking before this deal, Nik Bonitto was 4 years, $100 million. Both sides say yes, we move on. He's signed for the next 5 years. Now I think it's gone up potentially $5 million. Now I think Nik Bonitto legitimately might be saying, I want $30 million a year right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think, as you said, when the market goes up, when the market corrects and goes back to Micah Parsons now being the highest paid non-quarterback ever, that just brings everybody else's price up. So I would say Nik Bonitto would probably be in that $32 to $35 million range. And I think he would sign that. And I think that's something that he would ask for. That's something that probably could get done this week. It's like, hey, we'll pay you $35 million a year, $33 million a year, lock you down long term. Let's get ahead of this. For the Broncos also, It's very different than the Cowboys in terms of how they operate. They want to take care of their own. They want to take care of their draft picks. So I can see, I don't think Nik is going to try to be greedy and say that he needs to be in that $37, $40 million range. I think you can lock him down at a 33. And we've gotten great value in terms of the extensions with Cortland and Zach Allen this offseason. So why not lock Nik Bonitto down and let him go out there and play free starting right now?
So let me ask both of you. Who says no if it's $33 million per year offered with the normal guarantees, 4 years like that? Do both sides say yes, or do the Broncos maybe push back on 33, or would they do that?
The Broncos
Would you
might
do
push.
that? Would you do that if you're George Payton? Would you pay Nik $33 million?
Yeah, $33 million a year, lock him down right there. Compared to what Micah just got for sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, just because I think you could get him for that at any point in the season. I think you could get him for that after the season. Like, I don't think, unless he goes out there.
How many sacks did he have last year?
13.5.
third most in the NFL.
Yep.
If he does that again, he's not asking for 33.
You don't think so? I think he needs 10 million or 10 sacks to get to like that $30 million mark in free agency this year. And if he gets more than that, then it goes up. If he gets less than that, then it goes down. But I think the odds of anybody having 13.5 sacks and doing it again next year are slim. Like, you can look at Von Miller's career and say there's the high years, there's the low years. Like, to get that number consistently, it just doesn't really happen. And so I think that the odds are he finishes in that like 11 sack tier. You're looking in that like $33 million a year range. Now you're making the assumption that you offer $33 million. The Patriots offer $33 million. He wants to stick in Denver. But I think that that's his after the season price. I think that his current price, because there's the chance of regression, is cheaper, or the chance of injury it is a little bit cheaper. So to me, you're
getting paid for what you did, though.
Yeah,
you're getting paid for what you did.
And I think he'll get paid if he does that again.
TJ Watt last year had 11.5 sacks. And then he just re-upped for $41 million per year. Now, again, is Nik in that tier? No, but if Nik has 13 sacks again, and by the way, Nik has only trended like this his entire career. I believe his first year in the NFL had 2 sacks. Next year, 8 sacks. Next year, 13.5 sacks. Right now, he is someone that you could feel comfortable getting 10 sacks. At least I would. Bless you. What really scares me is if you don't sign this deal right now. We just talked about how the Broncos start the season against Cam Ward, a rookie quarterback at home. I think Nik could have 2 sacks in that game. I would definitely take the over on if it's half a sack. He's getting a sack this game for sure. And then Daniel Jones, even on the road, he could come out of this with 4 sacks. He could have 2 sacks in each game, and that's not even crazy to say. He's going to come out of these first 2 games with 2 sacks, and then Nik might say, you know what? I'm not going to take a deal. You guys wouldn't give me the money before, or the money I wanted before the season, so I'm just going to wait till I hit the open market, or the Broncos freak out and say, we have to sign you right now before you hit the open market and you're $50 million. Here's $37 million. I would do this right now.
Broncos aren't going to panic like that. They won't panic.
Yeah.
Sean and George Payton, they know what they're doing. They've got an extreme amount of value out of the signings that they've done so far. I know they're having probably some progressive talks right now, so let's see if they actually get it done.
Yeah, and they are having progressive talks. And speaking of getting it done, they got Pat Surtain's deal done 1 year ago from tomorrow, I believe. So there's sometimes like a soft deadline for players and teams to get deals done before week 1. Don't know if that's there for this. I know the Broncos are comfortable taking this into the season if they need to. I know Nik would like to get it done before the season, because who wouldn't want like $70 million guaranteed before a season starts? But there is kind of that soft deadline. Practice starts Wednesday. Games on Sunday. We just saw it come out with the Chiefs cornerback. What's
McDuffie.
it? Trent McDuffie.
He's got 2 years left on his deal, correct?
He has, I think. Is it 2? Or maybe they have a 5th-year option that they can exercise there as well, which the Broncos don't have, since Nik Bonitto was a second-round pick, so they don't have that option there. They could franchise tag him if they wanted to. But we saw that come out last night, that they're not expected to get a deal done before the season, and then they're putting off contract negotiations till after. So things could happen. We could be talking about a new contract for Nik Bonitto in the next 24 hours.
And I agree. I would lock him up now. It's just, I think that number is like 25, 27. It's just once you get up over 30, that's where I think you can wait, and worst comes to worst, it's an extra $5 million after the year if he really does have 16
You
sacks.
think he's $18 million less than Parsons if you come in at that 25 mark?
That's crazy.
That doesn't.
That'd be
I mean,
22 million less
It's
Would
a
it
tough
be?
one.
47.
to the 25.
Oh,
If that's
yeah,
what you
22,
said, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Wait, my
That's
math was
almost
way off.
half
Sorry.
of
Oops.
what Micah Parsons
That's the thing, though, is
makes.
like if somebody signed Micah Parsons for $47 million in free agency, I would say you overpaid. That's a bad deal. I wouldn't have done that. And so the fact that the Packers did that and gave up the assets, I think is really interesting. And it certainly makes them a better team the next 2 years. 3 years down the line, 4 years, 5 years, when you don't have those picks and you're paying Parsons, which is changing things, it's very much an all-in move that they could live to regret, I think.
Oh, they're 100%.
They
all
draft
in right
well,
now.
though.
They do draft well.
They draft well. So
Parsons.
Yeah.
Parsons also has a back injury apparently, and he needs shots to play on Sunday now.
Yeah, it's
According to
That's
crazy.
the other
CBS,
guys. It's
so-
not the,
The news-
person I would want to bet on either.
The news just broke during our show that Parsons dealing with something in his back between the L4 and L5 that he might need injections in order to play this week. And the Cowboys just signed him up, or the Packers just signed him up to that deal. That's fascinating. I got two interesting things I want to throw your way to wrap up this conversation. I want to do it after I give a shout out to our friends over at Taco Bell, where if you want the best deal in town, literally, you got to check out our friends over at Taco Bell, where they've got the Buffs Box Launch, which is $7. Here's what you're going to get: a cheesy gordita crunch, a beefy 5-layer burrito, Doritos Locos Tacos, cinnamon twists, and a large fountain drink. 5 items for $7. That would feed me for a couple of days right there. So that's the best deal in town for me, for sure. Plus, it's delicious. And plus, you're going to get a branded CU Buffs box and a player collectible cup featuring Jordan Miller, Juju Lewis, and Quentin Gibson. Plus, Juju just partnered officially with Taco Bell. And you can get this at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. And another cool thing about Taco Bell, for every touchdown that CU gets, they're donating $1,000 to the CU Athletic Scholarship Fund. So pick up your Buffs box, pick up Taco Bell wherever you are, but specifically in Colorado. Get that Buffs box for $7.
And shout out to Toyota. Toyotas are awesome. They're the best cars you're going to find. Actually, girlfriend said last night that when she gets a new car, doesn't know when that's going to be. The RAV4 is what she's looking for at the moment.
Good choice.
All sorts of good choices over there for whatever you're trying to do. You're trying to reduce your carbon footprint. They have more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. They also have a bunch of different SUVs that can take you off the road if you're interested in that sort of thing. iForce Max hybrid truck, kind of the best of both those worlds. All sorts of good stuff over there at Toyota. You can go check them out by visiting your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL, and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Shout out to the Toyota chat. They're all over the place in terms of where Nik Bonitto's
Yeah.
value is, how much he should be getting paid. We got Justin saying, you guys are insane for not thinking Nik Bonitto is not on Micah Parsons' level. He adds that Nik Bonitto is at over $40 million per year. We have other people saying he's not on Micah Parsons' level, and that is what makes this contract so difficult. Micah Parsons is, only the second player in NFL history to have 12 and a half sacks his first 4 years in the NFL. You know exactly what type of player Micah Parsons is, so it's easy for you to be like, okay, we'll just pay him, honestly, whatever he wants. That's essentially what the Packers did. Like, what's your price? Okay, we'll pay that to you. Nick is a guy that, as a rookie, incredibly underwhelming, but we kind of knew that coming in. He was very talented, but raw. His second year, he quietly takes a big step up to 8 sacks. Last year, in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, so do you pay him like that? Do you pay him like the 8-sack guy? I'm sure he wants to be paid like the $47 million. Broncos don't want to do that if they don't have to, but that's what makes this so interesting. And why I'm just down for getting this deal done is because of how much this edge market is exploding. Get this, and I got to give a shout out to JJ Watt for pointing this out on Twitter. In the spring, in March, the highest paid edge rusher was $35 million. That was Nick Bosa. Before any games have been played, It's now up to $47 million. The market has grown $12 million with not a player doing a single thing in that time. It just makes me think like, holy cow, when does this market stop? And Nick, when we've talked to him every time since then, he said, the edge market's in my favor. Oh boy, isn't he right?
Yeah, he is. And it will always continue to be in his favor as long as the quarterbacks are getting paid what they're getting paid. I think the quarterback position has become so dynamic that you have to have great pass rushers. We saw in our Super Bowl team, you have to have a dynamic pass rush up front and on the edges. You just saw it with the Philadelphia Eagles. Dynamic pass rush. You've seen it with the Kansas City Chiefs winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Dynamic pass rush. So you have to have a dynamic pass rush. I say, just wanting to get ahead of it right now so you don't have to. Because if Nick keeps trending in this direction, he will end up with 13.5 or 14 or 15 sacks this year because he is continuing to get better. And the dynamic pass rush that we have, he could have one of those big years, and then now you have to pay that premium $40 million range because he is now, entering his prime. So I would say get ahead of it early and lock it down at $33 million, $35 million a year.
And just what's crazy, speaking of values and stuff, let's say they do pay him $33 million. That would seem like a lot right now. But if another guy goes out in the open market next year and gets 50, then we're talking about, you got a $17 million discount on Nik Bonitto. And speaking of discounts, what's crazy with Micah Parsons making $47 million, Pat Surtain almost makes half of what Micah Parsons is going to make. Pat Surtain, the defensive player of the year, makes $24 million on his deal that he just signed a year ago. Micah Parsons nearly doubled that now. Different position, but crazy the value that the Broncos get on. I think he's the sixth highest paid cornerback right now.
And also just a bad contract. Again, that's too much money to give one guy who is not a quarterback. I think there are a lot of numbers that would say if you give all that money to a quarterback, you're still probably not going to be able to achieve much in the NFL. Unless it's Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. They're two outliers.
You don't think Parsons should have that? You don't think he's worth that?
No. There is no way you look back on this contract and say, wow, they got a good deal on it. Like at best, you're saying he
Unless
was worth
they go
the money.
To a Super Bowl.
True.
Correct.
Again, that's the thing is there's always the team thing.
Those plays. What if he has a Von Miller type playoff run,
again,
which he can do,
worth it,
where he is.
Yep.
I mean, Von won us all of those games. So
and you get this year where maybe he goes and does that. But after this year, there will be decisions you have to make to take talent away from this team. Again, not huge decisions. It won't be until the year after that where it's you need to make cuts somewhere because you have this one guy making that much money. And that's why if you go and win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, awesome. And if you win a Super Bowl at any point, awesome. But it's really going to reduce your opportunity to win a Super Bowl starting in 2027 or so.
Okay, from a Broncos perspective, would you rather have Micah Parsons or 2 first-round picks? Who's the defensive tackle? Kenny Clark, Jonathan Cooper, because he's $15 million a year. Mike McGlinchey, because he's about $15 million a year. And we'll go Ben Powers, because he's just under $15 million a year. So 2 first-round picks, Kenny Clark, Jonathan Cooper, Mike McGlinchey, and Ben Powers. Or Micah Parsons.
I'd keep what we have. Micah Parsons, to me, and I hate saying this as a former player, but I never actually believe in resetting the market for a team at any position. I just don't believe in that unless it's a quarterback position. So I would stick with what we have because, number one, I trust the GM. I trust our scouting department. And I trust the head coach to put all the players in the right positions to be successful. And I don't know if Sean ever had any contracts in New Orleans where he kind of reset the market there. Maybe the Alvin Kamara deal.
Maybe Michael
I was
Thomas.
there. Michael Thomas. I mean, he broke that record. I mean, he caught 169 passes. But, yeah, I would keep what we have and the infrastructure that you have in place. I don't believe in messing up your team's infrastructure to sacrifice for one player. I don't believe that unless it's you have to make a trade during the season. But I don't believe in extending that player, similar to what the Rams did with Von, where you trade for that player, you trade for that need right then and there, and then you let it settle itself out after that. But no, I don't believe in resetting the market for that type of player unless he was like an Aaron Donald who won 3 Defensive Player of the Years in 6 years and
Totally
was an All-Pro every year, first team. And even they got that deal done in a way where it didn't cap constrain them. But yeah, that's just me. I wouldn't trade for Parsons.
You're the ultimate team player. I love it, Benny.
It's football. Yeah, it's all about the excess value too. Where in the NBA you have however many guys on max contracts. Well, having Joker on a max contract versus having LeBron versus having Steph, like the key is getting more back than what you're paying. Like realistically, Joker should be getting $100 million a year for what he can provide a team. When that's only 60, you get a $40 million benefit. When you sign a guy for $47 million a year, like that's going to be the top contract in that edge rusher market for, I think, quite a while. Like I can't see that being. Trey Hendrickson is not going to. Sure, it might be 2 years.
2-3 years.
At least, yeah. And I think that when you do that, you're capping yourself out at fair deal. And you want to have the opportunity to look back and say, good deal. I mean, the Super Bowl team, Aqib Talib, that wasn't to reset the market contract. He outplayed it to the point where it should have been. And you had an extra $5 million that should have been going to him. He deserved more. Darian Stewart, TJ Ward. Like there was that whole list of guys. Emmanuel Sanders, who isn't top of the market pay. He's middle of the market pay, but you scout correctly and he's worth a lot more. So you get the excess value there. When you put all your eggs in one basket like that, there's no way to do it. Unless you get ahead of it like the Broncos did with Pat Surtain and say, we're going to get this deal done early.
Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like a bargain deal now.
Yes.
I mean, Micah Parsons making more than him.
And circle back to the Cowboys. Their biggest issue is that they wait till the very last minute to do deals. You could have saved $10 million a year if you'd signed Dak Prescott a year earlier when he was out. CD Lamb, same thing. $10 million a year, you do it earlier. Micah Parsons would not have cost this much if you had just done the deal early, Yeah. And so that's the wrong way to do business. The Broncos have this hot streak going, and it's why you'd think Nik Bonitto is going to get a contract done pretty soon.
Sean was really good with that in New Orleans as well, just like getting things done when players deserve to be paid. If they had performed at the level that he thought was, he could justify the contract extension, he pretty much always did it. He did it with Demario Davis a couple times, Cam Jordan a couple times, Michael Thomas obviously. I never really remember hearing a lot of news coming out about any of Drew Brees' contracts. You just get ahead of it. You know what he can add, stability into your locker room, culture, performance, all that's super important. I could just see that, Sean is talking with George Payton and then the Walton Penner family about let's get this done.
And that's why there's no contentious contracts. We've seen things blow up across the NFL, but not in Denver, yet they've signed almost 10 guys to massive deals in the past 14 months. All right, Benny, before we get out of here, we're going to see you on the pregame show, of course.
Yes, sir.
Where we'll get your pick for the game then. But let's take a step back. Your season prediction for the Broncos. If you want to throw a number on that record, would love that. Do you think they make the playoffs? What seed do they have? What do you see for the 2025 Broncos?
Similar as last year, 10-7. I see us getting off to a hot start with. I see us starting 3-0, beating Tennessee, beating Indy, LA Chargers. I think we beat the Bengals. I think Philly's going to be a hard one. You beat both New York teams, Dallas.
So you're rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
now.
Houston's going to be a tough one.
Yep.
I think Chiefs tough. I see the Chiefs continuing to win the division this year. And, it'll be up and down from there. Washington, that's going to be a tough game at Washington.
Yep.
I see us sweeping Vegas. Probably
sweeping Vegas.
Yeah,
Love it.
and splitting with the Chargers.
Okay.
But, yeah, 10-7.
10-7.
Playoffs.
Win a game?
Depends on the matchup.
Tough to win a game on the road.
Yeah, it's tough to win on the road.
Give me Houston and Houston. I'll take that one. And then that'd just be a preview of what we've already seen earlier in the season because they do play Houston and Houston.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah, it's tough to win a playoff game on the road. I think the Broncos will be. The 10-7 won't look like the 10-7 last year because you're going to beat some good teams.
Okay.
And the offense is going to look dynamic, and you're going to have these explosive plays, and you're going to have a lot of things that the Broncos Country hasn't seen in a really long time, probably a decade, in terms of explosive offense, consistent explosive offense, players running open, yards after catch, explosive plays in the run game. I don't think we've seen that type of dynamic offense, honestly, since my rookie year, because our Super Bowl year, our offense was sputtering. But my rookie year, Peyton threw 40 touchdowns. I'm not saying Bo's going to throw 40 touchdowns, but you had a competent offense who could make plays, and you had exciting games. So that's what I think we'll see.
I love it. Let us know in the Twitter chat and in the comments below. Would you sign up for a 10-7 season where the team makes the playoffs but doesn't win the division, so they're going on the road? That's all you know. Would you sign up for that right now? And before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to our super chat, Gillixie, I think maybe, going to Denver for the first time Sunday. Any go-tos while in Denver, Benny?
DNVR Bar.
Let's go.
Let's come to the bar.
And the
That's gonna
tailgate. We'll be out at the tailgate.
Yeah, come to the tailgate
Yes.
as well.
Absolutely. Go to the tailgate, then you can come to the bar. If you're going to the game, come to the bar after for Sunday night football. I think it's a really good Sunday night game. It might be the Ravens against someone good as
Interesting.
well. So
Ravens Bills. Is it Ravens Bills?
I think it is. I think that's it.
Okay.
That's a heck of a game.
NFL knows what they're doing with
Yes,
these opening
they
games.
do.
There's a part of me that feels like it's a waste to have it week 1. Like that game in December would be like when they've got everything figured out, would be electric. But
It's going to be a great way to
It'll be
kick
fun.
off the
It'll be
season.
fun.
We are 6 days, 1 hour, and 4 minutes till kickoff. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us. We'll be rocking and rolling with you all week. Shout out to Benny for joining us today. Every single Monday, we're going to get Benny on the show. And that's going to do it for us. We will see you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.